What's going on, people? Right, this is a preview for Wood versus Lara 2 at the Manchester Arena, 27th of May, live on DAZN. Can Leigh Wood right the wrong and get his world title back? We're going to have a look at it. First things first, I've got to give credit to Leigh Wood for even taking the Mauricio Lara fight in the first place. He didn't need to do it, proper throwback fighter, so we've got to give him his props there. And I mean, in hindsight, was it the smart thing to do? Probably not, because he'd still be a world champion now if he'd have picked a lesser opponent. But, you know, on the upside, we get a really intriguing rematch. So what I want to do, though, what I really want to do is just delve into the first fight, just put a bit of footage up on there and just look at the stuff that Leigh Wood was doing right and stuff that he was doing wrong, and have a little look at Mauricio Lara as well, and just unpick it, and I'll give you my prediction at the end, so stick around till then. So the fight starts, and immediately, as you can see, Leigh Wood's right hand is just glued to the right-hand side of his face, you know, concerned about that left hook from Mauricio Lara, the money shot that's knocked out a lot of people in the past. And not much happened in the first round, to be fair, and it, you know, you could have scored it either way. There was an unfortunate clash of heads, which did hamper Leigh in the later rounds. But yeah, as I say, not much happened. They're just jockeying for position. Leigh's just popping out the lead hand there just to kind of gauge the distance and try to read and time Mauricio's attacks. So then we go into the second round, and again, Leigh Wood's doing a really good job with that lead hand, just popping it out there, leaving it out there long enough to lure Mauricio in. And early on in the second round, it worked a treat. He caught him a really nice counter left hook, which rocked Mauricio back, and then he went on the front foot. Sometimes got a little bit greedy, didn't he, in the first fight? And I think that was essentially his downfall in the end. But, you know, he goes back to boxing off the back foot, nice jab, and keeps his right hand high again. And so far, so good. Then at the back end of the second round, Wood starts making mistakes, starts sitting in the pocket for too long and eats some real heavy body shots. Panic sets in, clearly hurt, can't get his feet right, and Lara just starts teeing off on him. At this point, you start to worry for Leigh, and it just seemed like he wasn't sure whether to go into fight or flight mode. Second round, definitely to Lara. Then the third round starts, and Leigh Wood's back working behind the jab, times him with a beautiful right hand there. He's obviously had a bit of a ticking off by Ben Davison in the corner, and he goes back to his fundamentals. And, you know, out of the two of them, Leigh Wood's actually a better boxer as far as I'm concerned. You know, he's not obviously a heavier hitter, even though he's got power in both of his hands as well. But when he's boxing off the back foot like this and just using the jab and not getting involved in trade-ups, not sitting in the pocket too much, and Leigh Wood starts to get the better of things. Then in the fourth round, he lands a really nice left hook. But I just want to show you something and pause it here. Have a look at how far down that right hand is, leaving a clear and open target for the left hook of Mauricio Lara. We all know that right hand should be glued to his face. Ben Davison and Leigh will know that they've got to get that sorted for the rematch, because when you're hooking with a dangerous hooker like Lara, you'll eventually pay the price. That time he gets away with it, rolls away from the left hook, but as you'll see later on, it's the same left hook from Lara that does the damage. Then we move on to the fifth round, and Leigh starts to be in control of the fight, still managing to keep his distance, keeping discipline, and then he lands a beautiful right hook to the body, which has Lara backing up and on the retreat. And then I think Leigh gets a bit greedy. He needs to avoid this at all costs in the rematch. If and when he lands something significant, which he will do, don't get greedy. Stay away. Create that separation. Work behind the jab again and try to win this fight on points. You don't have to knock Mauricio Lara out to win your belt back. You just got to box his ear rolls off. Then we move on to round 6, and this was Leigh Wood's best round by far. At this point, with the fight unfolding in front of my eyes, I honestly thought that as long as he stays disciplined, he can actually win this fight. He starts to look more and more confident and lands heavy artillery on Mauricio. Starts actually to look like the shots are taking their toll on him a bit. I was on a few Twitter spaces actually on the build up to this fight, and I don't want to say whose, but a lot of people in there were really disrespecting Leigh Wood and didn't really sit right with me. You know, this guy has beaten Kanzu, he's gone on a real tear, beat Michael Condon in that epic fight, and, you know, voluntarily took on someone as dangerous as Mauricio Lara. So we should be applauding Leigh Wood and not disrespecting him. But this is where it all went wrong, as I pointed out in the fourth round. You know, when you're hooking with a hooker, someone as dangerous as Mauricio Lara, you absolutely have to be defensively watertight. And as you can see here, the right hand comes down a little bit and he pays the price right on the chops. And that's pretty much all she wrote. To be honest, when I first watched it, I wasn't in favour of Ben Davison stopping the fight when he did. But in hindsight now, I think it was a really good stoppage. It allowed Leigh Wood to just recoup, recover, and realize where he went wrong and, you know, rectify it. I saw enough in that first fight to understand that Leigh Wood's got the tools to beat Mauricio Lara. I think he's the better boxer when the fight's at range. I think he can pick his shots really, really nicely, and he whacks hard himself. He had Mauricio hurt a couple of times, one to the body. You know, he landed that right, the right cross, the backhand several times as well during the fight. And, you know, Mauricio's got a decent chin himself. So you just got to stick to a strict game plan. And, you know, Ben Davison pulling him out, stopping the fight when he did, might be the best thing he's ever done for Leigh Wood in his career, because had he been knocked out cold, then there'd be no way I'd be picking Leigh Wood for the rematch. So, yeah, that's basically where my pick is going. I think he stays smart, he stays switched on, and I think he can beat Mauricio on points. Probably my heart over my head, that pick, because I don't want the Leigh Wood story to end yet. I see massive fight with him and Josh Warrington down the line, and maybe even the Condon rematch. But yeah, I mean, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Bronco goes in there and chins him in 3 rounds either. But I'm going to pick Leigh Wood on points. I'm not going to put any money on it. I don't advise you to either. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. So let us know what you think. Answer in the comments. Like and subscribe. Hit one of my other videos to see the other previews I've done for all these big fights coming up this week. And we'll see you again soon.